Ariège is a department in the Languedoc-Roussillon-Midi-Pyrénées region of southwestern France named after the Ariège River. Its capital is the town of Foix and the INSEE and Postal code is 09. The inhabitants of the department are known as Ariègeois or Ariègeoises. Geography. The department is part of the current region of Languedoc-Roussillon-Midi-Pyrénées and is surrounded by the French departments of Haute-Garonne to the west and north, Aude to the east, and Pyrénées-Orientales in the southeast, as well as Spain and Andorra in the south, covering an area of 4,890 square kilometers. The department is divided into 3 arrondissements: Foix, Pamiers, and Saint-Girons. It is composed of 13 cantons, 21 intercommunalities, and 332 communes. In 2009, the Regional Natural Park of the Ariège Pyrenees was created, covering about 40% of the area of the department of Ariège. Physical geography. There are 3 main areas. The Ariège Plain. The north of the department consists of plains, hills and low valleys where agriculture is prevalent. Part of l'Oriège covers the northeast of the department. 2 major rivers, the Ariège and the Nallys, traverse the plain from south to north. A landscape of grain fields dominates the scene with growing of corn and sunflowers and with prairies. The Pyrenean Foothills. This area includes the Plantorel Mountains and the Pre-Pyrenean Hills below 1,000 meters. Various geological structures are present in contrast. The Foix Valley with its granite mountain landscape and the Lavalannat region with marl and limestone. Ariège High Country. The geography is dominated by the Pyrenees Mountains exceeding 1,000 meters above sea level, which form the border between France and Spain. The Pic d'Estats, the peak of Montcalm, and Pic de Southieu are the highest points of the department. These peaks are clearly visible from Toulouse in the Haute-Garonne. The landscape is dominated by forests with coniferous species coexist with hardwoods such as chestnut trees, black locust trees, ash trees, and beech trees. There are hundreds of kilometers of well-marked paths which allow exploration of the magnificent Pyrenees Mountains. The high mountains are easily accessible via good roads. Cable cars are by foot. There are a number of lodges providing high-level mountain accommodation that are comfortable, warm and with good meals. There are also a number of freshwater lakes which provide a variety of activities including walking, swimming, fishing, canoeing, sailboarding and picnicking. There are several downhill ski resorts, the 3 largest being Aix-Bonisca, Les Monts d'Ormes and Gazé-Neige. There are many cross-country skiing resorts, one of the best being at Plateau de Bay, near Les Cabanes. Ariège is one of the least populated and most unspoiled regions of France. The locals enjoy keeping traditions alive, especially old farming techniques. Consequently, as fewer insecticides, for example, have been used, the flora and fauna of the area continue to be rich in both diversity and numbers. Butterflies are common and birds are numerous. Particularly noticeable are large birds of prey, including the magnificent griffon vultures. There are also many unspoiled villages and hamlets tucked away in the valleys close to the department's border with Spain. Ceux, Caminac, and Aulus-les-Bains are examples, together with picturesque mountain villages, most notably Alou, which comes alive in the holiday season. Climate. Ariège stands on the eastern limit of oceanic dominance over rainfall, but other influences are felt. Mediterranean, particularly visible in the vegetation of the foothills and of the valley of the Ariège River towards Tarascon, and in the Sioux country. subcontinental in the Pyrenean valleys, with many storms and big differences of temperature between day and night. There is no great tendency to summer drought as the flow of air from the northwest brings rain throughout the year. Rainfall is moderate on the foothills and in some sheltered valleys, measuring 700 to 1,000 mm per year, but increases significantly in the higher valleys with levels between 1,000 mm and 1,800 mm. The slopes exposed to the northwest, such as Aulus and Orlu, are, as one would expect, the wettest, together with the frontal ridges that meet airflow from the southwest. Snow cover is common over 1,000 meters, lasting several months above 1,500 to 2,000 meters. Some periglacial areas exist over 2,500 meters, but the only true glacier in Ariège that of Monte Sager near Castellon and Couserans. Temperatures are mild in the foothills, e.g. at the city of Foix the average is 5 degrees Celsius in January and 19 degrees Celsius in July. However, they decline rapidly with elevation, e.g. at Hospital at Preslandor it is 0 degrees Celsius in January and 14 degrees Celsius in July. History. Ariège is one of the original 83 departments created during the French Revolution on the 4th of March 1790 under the Act of the 22nd of December 1789. It was created for the counties of Foix and Couserans. A request was made to the Council of State to rename the department Ariège-Pyrénées. According to the proponents of this project, the word Pyrenees would better position the department to promote itself throughout France. The demand was rejected. Foix is the administrative capital of the Ariège. It is an ancient medieval town with a fortress, Château de Foix, perched on a hill overlooking it. The fortress has been attacked many times without being captured, including an attempt by Simon de Montfort. It has also been used as a prison, and the names of English prisoners of war can still be seen on the cell walls. Another famous castle in the Ariège is Monte Sager, located on a rocky outcrop at a height of 1,200 meters. During the Albigensian Crusadan siege in 1244 the castle was largely destroyed, with more than 200 Cathar priests burnt at the stake as heretics. The castle was gradually rebuilt by royalists over the next 300 years. The start of the 17th century saw the area ravaged by the Huguenot rebellions by Protestants against Catholics. In 1621 the Huguenot forces ruined the church at La Tour du Crieu. In 1629 Pamiers was sacked by Henry of Condé following uprisings that left several hundred dead in the city. This was also the period during which the abbeys at Foix, Tarascon-sur-Ariège, Saint-Garens, Saverdin and Le Mas-d'Azul were torched and destroyed. The 19th century was a time of strong industrial growth, supported in Ariège by an abundant supply of water power. The department also benefited from its significant reserves of iron ore. The growth of iron-based industries was a feature of the period, with the establishment, in 1817, of a steel manufacturing plant at Pamiers, which has been a principal driver of the local economy ever since. Other representative examples of the iron-based industries that developed in Ariège during the 19th century include the forges at Galaad and a blast furnaces at Tarascon-sur-Ariège. A description of the department's industrial development during the 19th century should also include mention the paper industry at Saint-Garens and the textile industry in the Pays d'Aulmes. Changes in forest laws in 1829 resulted in the War of the Maidens, a revolt by peasants who saw the rights to use the forests restricted and who disguised themselves as females while performing acts of rebellion. Towns of particular historical interest in the department include Pamiers, which hosted a large commercial centre and 3 churches, Mirepoix, a medieval town, as is Saint-Lizier, situated on a hilltop with winding streets, fine views, and a church with cloisters that are noteworthy. Saint-Girons is an agricultural centre with a Saturday market. Heraldry Anthem of Ariège. The patriotic song Ariège au Mon Pays was written by Father Sabas Maury, born on the 1st of March 1863 in Gestes in the valley of Sager, who was pastor of Magloes and Variles. It naturally became the anthem for Ariège. Economy. The Ariège department is a largely unknown department which is situated next to Aude in the southwestern part of the Languedoc-Roussillon-Midi-Pyrénées region and shares its borders with Aude, and Haute-Garonne and Pyrenees Orientales. It is predominantly a farming area as the soil is rich and fertile, but more than 50% of Ariège is mountainous, with 490,965 hectares being covered by forests. In the Axe valleys, the mining of talc is the most typical activity. The processing plant for talc at Luzenac is supplied by Carrière de Talc de Trimouns, who is the largest producer in the region. This industry is supplemented by tourism with winter sports resorts. In the Lavelanet area, the textile industry used to be the major industry but has gradually disappeared. There are only a few companies trying to survive in the face of competition from Eastern Europe and Asia. In the Pamiers area, metallurgy, aeronautics, and chemistry are the main industries. Metallurgy, in the Orbit and Amp Duval factory, produces forgings for the aerospace and energy industries. There are several companies in the aeronautics outsourcing industry such as Ricard Aero and Mazarair, who partners with aircraft manufacturers. Chemistry is represented by the paint industry with the Alliance Maestria, which includes several companies making paint for anything from buildings to aircraft. In the same sector there is also Etienne Lacroix in the commune of Mazes, which mainly manufactures fireworks and pyrotechnics. For the Saint-Girons area, industry is in decline and is represented mainly by the production of paper. Hydroelectric production from Ariège is about 1/5 of Pyrenean production. The hydroelectric plant at Aston has the largest annual production capacity in the Pyrenees, with Orlu and Hospital at Preslandor. These 3 plants have the largest capacity in the department. The hydroelectric developments in Ariège can support a city of 600,000 inhabitants. Large industrial plants use the energy produced together with the natural gas from LACQ. The Ariège Chamber of Commerce and Industry is situated at Foix. The department's economic development agency is at Verniolle. The department has established 3 business incubators to support enterprise in Ariège. Transport, mostly mountainous and rural. The department of Ariège is far from the main transport route serving the main valleys and coastlines. The railway arrived in the department in 1861 with the Toulouse to Poitiers line, which is the only line that remains open to this day in the department. Besides the trains of the TER Midi-Pyrénées, this route is still served by intercity trains from Paris Austerlitz. Since 2002, Ariège has been connected to the national motorway network via the A66 autoroute, which joins the A61 autoroute at Villefranche-de-l'Aurigues and continues south of Pamiers by the national route NR20 as a dual carriageway as far as Tarascon-sur-Ariège. The upgrading to autoroute standards on the Pamiers to Tarascon and setting up a dual carriageway to Andorra are dreams for the future. Demographics. The department has 151,477 inhabitants, or 146,289 without double counting. The populations of the arrondissements are Foix 53,595, Pamiers 69,664, St. Girons 28,218. The populations of the principal towns are Pamiers 15,702, Foix 10,119, Lavelanet 7,068, St. Girons 7,019. Communes with more than 2,000 inhabitants: Pamiers, Foix, Lavelanet, St. Girons, Saverdun, Tarascon-sur-Ariège, Mazes, Maiapois, Varilis, La Roque-d'Olmes, Saint-Jean-du-Falga, La Tour-du-Crieu, Les Hats-sur-Lys, Verniolle, NB. The communes in italics are part of the agglomeration of Pamiers. The department has two urban areas, Foix and Pamiers. Housing. According to the General Census of the Population of 8 March 1999, 26.5% of available housing in the department consists of second homes. The following table indicates the main communes of Ariège in which the number of second homes amounts to more than 10% of total dwellings. Politics. The department has 2 parliamentary constituencies and 13 cantons. In general, it can be said that, with a republican and secular tradition since the Third Republic, Ariège is firmly held by the Socialist Party, even though in recent years the right has managed to sink a few corners of the fortress. This results in a parliamentary representation that is exclusively PS and a general council where 19 of the 22 members of PS are close to this party. The political orientation of the department is therefore clearly identified. In 2007 it was the department with the most votes for Ségolène Royal. In 2012 it had the third most voters for François Hollande in France with 64.69% after Caries and Saint-Denis. Although male-female parity is well respected by MPs, all 22 councillors were men until 2011 when 2 women were elected. The president of the General Council is Augustin Bonrepos of the Socialist Party. Culture. The region was originally part of Aquitaine and has retained many hallmarks of the Gascon culture and Gascon language. Gastronomy. The gastronomy of Ariège is based on the cooking of Pyrenean regional food, such as cheese or charcuterie from the mountain country. Asenat is the local and typical dish of Ariège. The department is also well advanced in the field of organic farming. Films. 1975, Le Passé Montagne, author Christian Bernadac, director Jean Vernier. 1980, L'Orselin by Jean Fléchet. 1982, Le Retour de Martingale by Daniel Veen. 2009, No Passerin, film by Eric Martin and Emmanuel Corset, filmed in the Victicis Valley near St. Girons in the Couserans at Foix and at Tarascon-sur-Ariège. Literature. Several novels by Louis Henry de Stella set in Ariège. The detective story by Pascal de Saint-Lespis René is set in the Couserans. It has been reprinted in comics. Most of the novels by George Patrick Lies published by the Parisian publisher Albin Michel feature Ariège of the Pyrenees such as Le Temps en Héritage, Un Brin d'Espérance, Rue des Hortensias Rouges, La Forgeron de la Liberté, Le Sentier des Pastures, La Vie en Place, Le Destin de Marthe Rivière, Le Chemin de Peyre Blanca, L'Auberge des Myrtilles, Un Newton Juan. Music. Maiapois Musique promotes concerts of classical music, talks and readings in and around Maiapois. Making music at Malagud, Vocal Festival of Les Belengues at Orgibet. Jazz at Foix, Grosna Tax Les Thermes. Art Show, Contemporary Music Room. Theatre. Mima is an international festival of the art of marionettes held every summer in Maiapois. Each year the event is guided by a central theme. The lineup showcases a variety of techniques, including object theater, glove puppets, string puppets and marionette sports. Tourism. Notable people linked to the department. Art. Joseph Birch, born in St. Garens, was a painter. René Gaston Legore was a painter who had his workshop in Couserans and lived in Seix. Pierre de Bouvel was an artist. He lived in Maipoix from 1998 until his death. Mady de la Garadière is a painter born in La Valannette. Roger Bataille, born in Foix, was a painter. Christian Dorjix, the surrealist painter, was born in Foix. Film. Terence McCartney Filgate is a British-Canadian film director living in Maipoix. He has directed, written, produced or shot more than 100 films in a career spanning more than 50 years. Richard Stanley, the South African film director, lives in Monte Sager. Literature. Marie de Calages, born in Maipoix, was a poet, crowned many times by l'Académie des Jeux Floraux. Pierre Bayle, philosopher and writer, born at Carlisle. Frédéric Solier, novelist born in Foix, lived as a boy in Maipoix. Napoléon Perret, born in 1809 at Les Bordes-sur-Ariège, died in 1881. Pastor, historian of the Cathars and a poet. Marie-Louise and Raymond Escolier, co-authors of regionalist novels such as Cantegral, which won the Femina Prize in 1922. Isabelle Sandy, writer born in Saint-Pierre-de-Rivière. Louis-Henri d'Estel, novelist born in Les Hauts-sur-Lys, died at St. Girons. Marcel Pagnol, the novelist, playwright and filmmaker, taught at the École Supérieure in Maipoix. Raymond Belliot, philosopher, novelist. His paternal family came from Aix-les-Thermes and his maternal family was from Seix in Couserans. Gaston Massard, surrealist poet and resistance fighter born in St. Girons. Michel-Aimé Acute-Bourdois, scholar, novelist, and playwright born in Vinette-de-Riege. Max Leclerc, writer and television director, lived in the commune of Durfort from 1974 to 1988. Christian Bernadac, journalist and writer born in Tarascon-sur-Ariège. Georges Patrick Lies, novelist and historian. Patrick Sinters, writer, painter, sculptor, and composer. Remy Marat teaches in Pamiers. Music. Écart del Fossat was a troubadour from Le Fossat. Gabrielle Fauré, composer, born in Pamiers. Marie Lefort, singer and actress. She defined herself as Ariègeoise. Granddaughter of Louis Dominic, founder of La Valannette, a textile company. Christian Tuntun Salou is a jazz musician. He lived in Pamiers from 1958 to 1977 and began his musical career with Mark Finder's orchestra in 1970. Daniel Lassol, born in La Valannette, is a Baroque trombonist and sackbut player. Politics. Marc Guillaume Alexis Vadia, politician, member of the National Convention, creator of the Department of Ariège. Joseph Lacanal, born in Zers-sur-Arget, member of the National Convention. Alfred de Janseny, prefect of Ariège in 1864. Elie Couteau Ngali Gasparou, MP for Ariège. Alpinian Pabot Châtellard, prefect of Ariège from 1892 to 1898. Tessifal Delcasse, politician, several times Minister of Foreign Affairs, in particular during the conclusion of the Entente Cordiale with Great Britain, born in Pamiers. Paul Corjol, Mayor of Siga, General Counsel of Ariège and President of the National Association of Accountants. Pierre Dumas, born and died at St. Martin-d'Oides, writer and journalist, great resistance fighter known as Saint-Jean, politician, MP for Haute-Garonne. François Camel, Georges Galli-Gasparou, MP, Secretary of State for Information, Mayor of Massart. Roger Fourou, a former minister, former mayor of Saint-Girons. Augustin Bonrepos, politician, a former MP for Ariège and president of the General Council of Ariège. Former president of the Finance Commission for the National Assembly. Participated in the opening of the road to Ariège, particularly the Puy-Morens Tunnel. Jean-Pierre Bel, senator, president of the Senate of France since the 1st of October 2011. André Trigano, officer of the Legion of Honor. He was mayor of Mazes for 24 years, general councillor for the canton of Saverdun and MP for the 2nd electoral district of Ariège from 1993 to 1997. Mayor of Pamiers. He is also the brother of Gilbert Trigano, the co-founder of Club Med. Paul Vaillant Couturier, originally from Saint-Croix-Valvesta. Frédéric Massart, MP for Ariège since 2007. Religion: Jacques Fournier, Bishop of Pamiers, then of Maiapois. Pope under the name of Benedict XII from 1336 to 1342, born in Cantania-Saverdun. François de Corlet, Bishop of Pamiers. Jean-François Boyer, Bishop of Maiapois from 1730 to 1736, tutor to the Dauphin, Louis XV's son. Sabas Maury, pastor of Maglos from 1890 to 1906 and creator of Ariègeois Mon Pays, the well-known ARIE acute GE hymn. Philippe Mousset, Bishop of Pamiers, Couserans, Maiapois. Appointed on 8 January 2009 by Pope Benedict XVI. Sport: Louis Henry Distel, rugby writer, born in Les Hauts-sur-Lys. Jacques Dupont, cyclist, Olympic record holder, born in Les Hauts-sur-Lys. Claude Piquemel, athlete, French sprinter, Olympic medalist, born in Sager. Aldo Qualio, French international rugby player, born and trained in La Valannette. Jacques Crampagne, French international rugby player, born in Foix. Patrick Estève, French international rugby player, born and trained in La Valannette. Jocelyn Degel, CN3 Judo, vice-champion of France, first black belt in the city of Foix. Sylvain d'Espagne, French international rugby player, born in Saint-Girons. Jean-Louis Jordana, French international rugby player, born and trained in La Valannette. Laurent Bonzon, vice-champion of Europe for Judo Jiu-Jitsu. Michel Marfang, French international rugby player, born and trained in Pamiers. Fabien Barthez, French international football player, born in La Valannette. Eric Carrière, French international footballer, born in Foix. Fabien Pellis, French international rugby player, born in Toulouse and trained in Saverdun. Benoit Baby, French international rugby player, born in La Valannette and trained in Toulouse. Mylène Guaro, vice-world champion for Jiu-Jitsu. Johan Huget, French international rugby player, born in Pamiers and trained in Toulouse. Jean-Marc Dusain, French international rugby player, born and trained in Toulouse, originally from Saint-Croix-Valvesta.